Alrighty, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Google for Education study session for YouTube and Chrome. My name is Natalia Razavon. I'm a tech integrator for elementary schools in Racine Unified, the B Center, and Mitchell campus. Today, we will demonstrate some of the skills that may be covered in the units and exam. This is a supplemental course that will provide participants with a visual demonstration of the skills. These courses are not to assist in learning about the certification task. They do not replace the units in the Google Teacher Center. Learners must still complete those lessons and unit reviews prior to taking the exam. Please limit your questions in the chat to those that are related to the skills being discussed. Avoid answering one another because this can cause issues and we can miss the questions. Something else that we want to make sure that you are aware is that you cannot disclose any specific items in regards to the certification exam. Google requires all who take the exam to sign a no disclosure agreement. Therefore, we cannot share specific exam details. Failure to follow these guidelines will result in your removal from the session. So just to make clear, because no one, Joe and I, we are Google Level 1, Level 2, and also Google Certified Educators, and we do know, we cannot discuss specific questions. So make sure that we just here to review and learn skills for the basic guidelines of Google. Joe?
All righty. Thanks, Natalia. And again, thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning. I know everyone has a lot going on as we come towards the end of the school year. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And we're going to get right started on YouTube. All righty. So now you should be able to see my desktop, and I have YouTube open. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a bit, make sure everybody can see. And as Natalia said, we are going to be focusing on the skills that are highlighted in those fundamental training modules on Google. So the first one that we are going to take a look at is simple filtering, right? To filter out what videos we're looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and let's say I'm teaching science. I'm going to go with types of volcanoes. Okay. Now, once you type in what you're looking for, then you will have the ability to filter it out from there. You cannot filter before you actually search for the video. So what I mean by that is we hit search, and now we see this little filter button on the top. And we have a few options to choose from. Depending on how you use YouTube, or if you use it in the classroom, will depend on what filters you choose. But my favorite is the duration. At least back when I was in the classroom, this was huge for me, right? I wanted videos that were short because I couldn't keep students' attention for more than 5 minutes as it was. So I felt like this was a great filter. So I could go ahead and click duration, short. And then it will narrow down my videos for me to all those that are less than 4 minutes long. So I have some options to choose from here. One thing worth noting, just make sure you are using this professionally, and that when you do use this, or if you do use this in the classroom, let's say this types of volcano video, if you are going to share it out, make sure you watch the whole thing, because you never know what's at the last 5 seconds of a video. Just make sure it is appropriate. So I'm going to go back to my filter here. So we have short 4-minute videos. The other things that we can look for are the upload dates, right? So if you teach a current events or a history class, maybe you're looking for something more recent. So you want to narrow down your searches. I mean, honestly, even for something like this, right? The Google training, or if you're looking for how to do something, Google apps change pretty frequently. So I would filter it down. Let's say I was looking up, basics of Google search. I would go through the upload date and change it to this year, because that's how you're going to get the most up-to-date information. If you want to change your filters, simply, let me click off of that. If you want to remove a filter, simply click back on where it says filter right here and hit the little X bar, box next to the filters you selected. Again, these come in handy just for, even personal use when you're looking for certain videos. Now, I am going to, Natalia, any questions yet as far as the filtering goes?
No, Joe, we are all good.
Okay. I'm going to take a tiny detour into what's called the YouTube channel. So Natalia and I have created our YouTube channel. To be honest, we don't even remember when we did it. So I can't walk you through that process live, because once it's done, it is done. But I can show you what it would look like when you're going through this. Now, creating a channel is something that you would do if you want to create playlists on your account, right? So if I'm creating a volcano playlist for my students with the 3 different types, right? The cone, composite, and shield types of volcanoes, and I want that on a playlist, I have to make sure my channel is created. Don't worry too much about the channel. What is it? What do I have to add to it? Essentially, it's like your homepage, and I will show you mine. It's like your homepage. So if you were to click on my name on YouTube, this is just what you see. This is my channel. Nothing too crazy. Now, if you haven't used your YouTube specifically for playlists or certain features, you might not have set up your channel yet. This is what it will look like if that's the case. When you click your profile on the top, let me zoom in a bit here. When you click on your profile, on the top right corner of the screen, it will say create a channel. So then you go ahead and click create. Next, you just go to get started. And it might ask you like what name you want to select for the channel or whatnot. And then you're all set. So that's what that'll look like when you do set up your YouTube channel. And again, you're just doing that more to get access to the playlists. We could talk about the customization of the channel and all that at a later date, but we won't have time to cover that in this session. Okay. Natalia, I thought I saw a question. Are we okay?
Yeah, one of the questions was, is it possible to use more than one filter at a time?
Awesome question. So let's see. If I click short, I'm just going to go with that one again. Let's say I want a short video that was posted in the past month. You could, yes, so you can select multiple filters. Just know that, some are contingent on one another. So if I select certain sort bys, it won't allow me to do the upload date filter. But most of the time, you will be able to use multiple filters when you're navigating those videos. Anything else?
Nope. So
awesome.
far, so good.
Awesome. Now, I am going to go through and I'm going to go and delete my filters. I'm going to clear my filters. And now we're going to focus, Now we're going to focus on playlists. So how to create a playlist. So again, I'm going to use these volcanoes, the types of volcanoes for the playlist I want to create for my class, for my students. So what I would do is I could click on the video here. And we can watch this ad that always comes up. All right. Now, there's a few things that we need to look at here. One, you can see this blue bar. It says video approved for rusd.org. That didn't happen automatically. That happened because I hit approve. So as you know, all Racine Unified staff have the ability to approve videos on YouTube. Again, use your professional discretion as to what you're approving, but you should make sure any videos that you are looking to share with students, and they are going to have to watch from their student accounts, make sure those are approved. So just click the approve button and they will be able to access it from their student account. Next, underneath this blue bar, we have the title of the video, and then we have this add to button. This add to button. Now, this is just one of two ways we can do playlists. And I'm going to show you why it's kind of weird as far as this option that we're about to go over. So let's say I want to add this to a playlist. I'm going to click add to. Now, I do have some playlists created already, but I want to create a new playlist, right? I want to add this to a new playlist that I'm going to share with students. So if I scroll down to the bottom, it says create new playlist. I simply click create new playlist, and I could do types of volcanoes. Underneath that, you will see you have the option to make it public, make it unlisted, or make it private. What that means is that public, anyone can search for your playlist, right? I could search for playlists on types of volcanoes. Anyone that makes those public will have access to those. Unlisted is just those that have the link will be able to view those videos. Private is restricted. It is just you who can view them. So do not select private if you are going to share it out with other people. So for our purposes, I'm just going to go with unlisted, and then I'm going to hit create. Now, this video has been added to that playlist. If I wanted to add this to another playlist, let's say I just want to add this to science, right? I want a large library of all my videos throughout the year. I could also click the science box. So you can add the same video to multiple playlists. Now, what I was saying when I said this add to button can be a little finicky, it's because it won't always show up. And if I'm being totally honest, I don't know the exact reason. I've heard it depends on how, it's uploaded, whether it's restricted for kids or not. But I'm going to show you what happens with videos that don't have that add to button. So I'm going to go ahead. I know which one I'm looking for here. So this video, you can see the difference. There is no add to button. You see down here, it just says more. And when we click more, it does not give us that add to, and we cannot create or add anything to playlists. Again, I'd be lying if I gave you the exact reason why that happens, but not to worry. There is a way around that. So I'm going to go back to my search. Let me try again. I'm going to go back to my search. Okay. Now, Google is all about, right, having those three circles. I feel like I say, if you click the three circles or the three dots more than 100 times a day. But in this case, we do want to look at these three circles next to the video. So after we search for the videos we're looking for, if we are interested in adding it to a playlist or creating a playlist, we are going to go to these three circles. And these will be available regardless of if that add to button is underneath the video or not. This is available for every video. Now, just a reminder, you will not see Save to Playlist if you have not set up your channel yet. Okay. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to go to this next video, Volcanoes 101. I'm going to click these three circles, and I'm going to go to Save to Playlist. And again, it's the same layout as it was on the previous screen. I can either select an already made playlist, or I can create a new playlist to put that video in. You always have the ability to go back and make changes and make edits to whatever you do. Nothing is set in stone once you create it. How are we doing, Natalia?
We are doing really good. So someone asked a really good question about can we create sublists? So like the example was like if you're making the volcano playlist, can you put it under a playlist named science?
So good question. No, the quick answer is no. you would have to actually make an additional playlist. And that's more of a level 2 type thing where we would insert something into that playlist towards the end to link people to that playlist. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Natalia.
Yes, and I believe that another way to do it is like maybe creating, like you say, the 2 playlists and put the videos in both playlists. Is that what you mean, Joe?
Yeah, so that's one way of doing it, is just having those 2 separate playlists.
Yep.
And then, the further in depth we get with YouTube, you will have the ability to add like a card, is what they call it, and that would bring you to the next sub playlist, if you will, automatically. But again, that's a little too much for today's session. Thanks, Natalia. Anything else? Or are we still good?
Oh, we are good.
Awesome. Okay. Now, I kept referencing my channel, right? And I think I probably confused a few people. So let me go ahead and I'll show you again where we would find your channel. So on the top right, go ahead.
Joe, one more question.
Yep.
So just to clarify for everybody, we are recording this session. The idea of this session is that you guys are pretty much like watching and taking in, and then later you're going to be able to go and practice when we send you the video, and actually you can go and pause. So don't try to do what Joe is doing at the same time, because you may get lost and you won't be able to catch up. But just before you go, Joe, when you go to a full video, how can I go back to the playlist?
I'm sorry, can you say that again? When you go to a video.
Yep. So how can you go back to the playlist? So that's pretty much like going back to your
Yep.
you can go back to all your playlists and your homepage, sort of.
Yeah. So Natalia and I will show you how to do that in just a minute. We're going to show you that right after we show the channel, what a channel is on YouTube. I guess I'll also note, since Natalia brought it up, in the video that we are going to post, I didn't do it yet, but there will be timestamps in the descriptions, because we understand we are throwing a lot at you. And we do have a checklist that Natalia and I are working off of. So in the description here, there will be links to click to certain points to skip throughout the video. So if you want to just focus, on subscribing to channels, you'll know exactly what time in the video that is. That way you're not looking through the 45-minute or hour-long video. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the homepage, and we are going to go to our channel. Again, if you don't have one created, it's really no big deal. But to get to it, we click on the top right. You see your little icon there. Then you see your channel. Now, if you haven't set it up, it will just say set up your channel. This is where you will get a list of your videos, playlists, and other channels that you subscribe to. Again, your channel is public, so this is what people would see when they come to your page. Most of my videos are unlisted or private, so they are not on. They will not show up here. Now, the next thing is called YouTube Studio. The difference between the channel and YouTube Studio is that YouTube Studio is where, I guess, all the magic happens, if you will. You're going to have access there to edit whatever videos you post, to change descriptions, to change playlists, delete playlists, blah, blah, blah. YouTube Studio is for where that's going to happen, whereas your channel is just what's being displayed. So I'm going to go ahead and click on YouTube Studio. And again, to get there, I just click on the top right, and you can go to YouTube Studio. Now here's our dashboard. And again, there's a lot on here, but let's just focus on what we really need to know. And that's on this left side over here. What we're going to look at now are the playlists. So I'm going to click on playlists. And you can see here, you get a full list of every playlist you've created on your account. You can see the sharing settings for each playlist, because the ones with the globe or, picture of the world underneath it, that's public. This little paperclip, the link, is unlisted. And if there's a lock, that means it is private. That means that's private. I actually had to delete my playlist of my favorite Disney songs because I was embarrassed, but I guess I'm sharing it anyway. So let's say I do want to edit one of the playlists that I've created, right? Let's say I want to change something. Once we're in YouTube Studio, we have this little edit box on the right side. So I'm going to go to my volcanoes, and I'm going to click on Edit. Here you have the ability to change the order of the videos, or just set a, what am I trying to say? A repetitive filter, so it'll automatically publish the most recent video on the top of the playlist. So you can sort that stuff here. Again, there's 3 circles to the right of every video. So we click those if we want to remove it from the playlist. Or if we really like the thumbnail of a video, right? I feel like it really captures the playlist and what I'm trying to get at. I can click these 3 little circles, and then I can go down to where it says Set as Playlist Thumbnail. Okay, so that way you can choose what the first image is that's being seen, because sometimes those thumbnails aren't always appealing, or they're a little odd. So that's one way of adjusting that. Next, I'm going to move over to this section where we have the play all. Underneath that, anytime we see a pencil, that means we can edit. So I can change the title if I want, from Types of Volcanoes to, Cinder Cone Volcanoes. We can change the privacy settings on the videos. And then if we want, we could even shuffle the videos up. I'm not sure that that's as useful for education, but, maybe with music if you have a playlist set up. I'm going to skip this share button for a second, and I'm going to go to these 3 circles. The reason I'm skipping this share button is because that's the thing I kind of want to end on. So if I click on these 3 circles, you can see we have the ability to add additional videos. We could add all these videos to a separate playlist, or we can collaborate with another person that has a YouTube account. So this collaborate button, I'm going to go ahead and click on it. By default, it's off. If I want to work, let's say I'm on a 4th grade team, and the 4th grade teachers are, working together to create this playlist, we can go ahead and toggle that switch on so that we could all be working together. Or again, a special ed and regular ed teacher, you get my point there. So now it says collaborators can add videos to this playlist. In order for the collaborator to join or to be able to add videos, they have to get this link. So if I want Natalia to have access to this playlist and I want her to add videos to it, I have to copy this link and then paste it in an email to her, or whatever method you want to use for communication. But this is the link that Natalia would access to get to this playlist and get that full access. In previous sessions, people asked, can you restrict permission settings, kind of like, on a Google Doc? And the answer is no, you cannot. It's kind of all or nothing as far as the playlists go. How are we doing, Natalia?
We are doing fantastic, Joe.
Awesome. All right, finishing up, we have this description right here, and it says no description. To add a description to your playlist, we would click this pencil and type in whatever, again, a short detail of what we're looking at. Now for the fun part, the share button. The share button is definitely something you want to be aware of, right? Because what's the point of creating these playlists if we're not able to get them out to our target audience? So the share button is this arrow, and I'm going to go ahead and click that. Now, we have a ton of different options here, but I'll go ahead and tell you that they probably aren't the best. to be used within our domain, within Racine Unified's domain. So to share your playlist, you're simply going to take this link and you're going to copy the link. And then from there, you can either paste the link in Google Classroom, you could paste the link in an email. I mean, again, whatever forum you want to share that out, that's up to you. But again, we click the share button and copy. That will give access to that whole playlist. Anything there, Natalia? Okay. Finally, we have the ability to subscribe to channels. So to subscribe to a channel, you can type in, let's say I want to do Racine Unified. Now I am already subscribed to them, but you can see here, this is what the channel looks like, right? This is Racine Unified's channel. If I want to subscribe to the channel, I simply click this red subscribe button. And what that does is it puts that kind of on your dashboard, right, for quick access. So on this left side of my screen, you can see my subscriptions. Anything with a blue dot means there's a new video on that channel that I have not watched yet. There's a new video that's been uploaded that I have not clicked on. So again, if you're interested, that's a good way to kind of continue professional learning, right, is finding channels that fit your needs, whether it's in the classroom or with these technology trainings. I don't want to spend too much more time on that. Really, you just need to know how to subscribe to a channel as far as the skills that are covered in that unit. If we want to unsubscribe from a channel, we can do it the same way we subscribed. I just click on it and I hit unsubscribe. Okay. Anything else, Natalia, before I move on to Google search?
Would you please demonstrate one more time? How would you copy the link to the playlist to maybe copy it in somewhere else? So when Joe is going to the playlist, in the edited part of that playlist, he will be able, so he's going right there and he's gonna go edit it. And then you guys see that arrow that is pointing out, that's your share button. So then right there where it says copy, he just click on it and then he will go to whatever application he needs to go. Let's say in a Google document, most likely you guys probably gonna share it in your Google Classroom, but it's the exact same thing. Click right there, Control V for a shortcut for paste, or you can also go to edit and paste. Very good. And then when you click right there, the link will be showing. So that's how would you do it either in an email or also on a Google Classroom. You will just click right there and then paste it. And that's how you will be able to share them. No problem. Thank you, Joe. Sorry about that.
Thank you. No, good point. Good point. Yeah, definitely worth noting how to copy and paste. Okay. Again, there's more that we could go into on YouTube, but for the modules on the Google Teacher Center, we are just going to go ahead and move on. We're going to go ahead and move to the Chrome search portion of this session. So I'm going to start here at ClassLink. And when we talk about Chrome search, we are talking specifically about using our Google Chrome browser, okay? I just want to make that clear. Part of the things that we're going to be going over, if you tried it in Firefox or Brave or a different browser, it would not necessarily work. The first thing is the term Omnibox. If you've gone through the unit already, you've probably seen that term, Omnibox, O-M-N-I-B-O-X. I honestly had to Google it the first time I saw it because I was not quite sure what that was. But really, it's just a fancy or weird term, whatever you want to choose. As far as this bar goes, this thing right here, I wish I could zoom in here, but this URL, right, where we type in www. That's the Omnibox. It's called an Omnibox because with Google, it's a combination, right? I could type in youtube.com and it'll bring me to a website. So it is a URL address bar, but it is also a search bar, right? It's a two-in-one type of deal. So that's called the Omnibox. I just don't want anybody to panic if they see that term. I want to make sure you're familiar with what the vocabulary we'll be using. So in our Omnibox, I'm going to go ahead and show you what I mean by searching. I can go ahead here and type in spinner. Now it brings up, if you can't tell, this is my favorite one. I love this one. But you can go ahead and use the spinner utility. If you click the down arrow, I mean, there's just a ton of different features that are included in the Omnibox. Another way you can use the Omnibox is to solve, like as a calculator, excuse me. So let's say we wanted to do 8 times 6. I could just type that in and it will pop right up. Now, where it says 8 times 6 right here, this is the Google search bar. Okay, this is google.com and this is Google search. I don't want to confuse anyone. This is the Google search bar, right? The Omnibox is the thing on top. All right. Next, I am going to go through filtering on search. I'm going to go with my favorite example, a Jaguar. If I'm searching for a Jaguar or information on a Jaguar, there are a few things I can do to filter out information. If we're under this tab that says all, our options are a little bit limited as far as what we can actually filter. But to see what options we have, we can click on the tools section right here, or excuse me, the tools button. When we click on tools, it gives you the option to choose a specific time range. It could be within the past year. It could be, you know, so 2018 to 2019. You can really get specific there. And then you can also search for just all results or verbatim for what you typed in the search bar. Those are the only two options you have when you are looking at it from the page that says all. Now, when we go to the images tab, you're going to see we have a few more options to choose from. So I'm going to go ahead and click on images. You can see the options underneath the search bar are still the same. So I'm going to go ahead and click on tools one more time. And we get size, color, usage rights, type, and time. For this session, I'm going to focus on usage rights. So let's say I want to share a picture, right, on a presentation or a flyer that's going out. I want to make sure that the image I'm using, I'm not violating any copyright laws, or I'm not, you know, I don't want to deal with any of that, right? So to navigate through that, we can simply, again, click the tools button here, go to usage rights, and then we can select labeled for reuse. Labeled for reuse. This will give us images that are free, you know, you're free to use, right? You're free to publish. You can see there are a few different options here. I don't have them, the definitions for each one memorized, but the most common one that most common one I use is labeled for reuse. Another kind of handy thing with images is the size one, right? There are certain times where you are looking for something to fit in a smaller space. So you can go ahead and click icon. Jaguar is not a great example for icon, apparently. But we can go ahead and just, you know, go through and filter it by the size, right? Medium, large, because if we take a medium picture and, you know, expand it and blow it up, it will kind of distort that image. So you have the ability to do that. And then you can play around with the other ones on your own. Natalia, any questions so far?
No, Joe. So far, we are so good.
All right. Next, I'm going to go over a quick, very briefly, and again, I don't want to overwhelm anyone. I just think these are very handy. Not just for fundamentals training, right? I think this has made a difference in my professional life and how efficient I am. Google has something called operators. And operators are meant to make your search more efficient. So for example, with Jaguar, right? I picked that one for a reason because it's an animal, it's a car. An operator in this case would be hitting the dash button, the minus button, right? So I can do Jaguar minus, and let's say I want information about the car, not the animal. I can do minus the animal. Now we are getting it filtered down just to the cars. Anything with the animal, any Jaguars that are, images of animals will be filtered out. There are about probably 20 operators that are posted on Google's support page. If you're interested, you can look those up. You can, a few other operators are, using dates and different timelines, as well as money ranges, right? If you're looking for a bicycle, you can type in, I'm looking for something between $2 and $10. But again, those are just called operators. It's these little functions that make your search more efficient. I just saw that comment in the corner of my eye. Yeah, I can't afford these cars. How we doing, Natalia? I feel like I'm moving too fast.
We are doing fantastic.
Okay, cool.
Besides the Jaguar.
All right. Now, finally, the last thing as far as Chrome search goes is something called the reverse image search. A reverse image search. So let me go back. I did not want to do that. Let's say this picture, right? I want to know what the source was, right? What website posted this picture? How many websites can I find that have this picture? So if I right click on the image, you'll see a bunch of things pop up. But right here, towards the bottom, it says search Google for image. Now, when I click on that, it actually searches for the image itself in Google. And we can go ahead and see all the websites that have this picture posted on it. This can come in handy in various situations, especially during when you're researching or when students are researching. And then I'm going to show you one additional way of doing that reverse image search. I'm just going to go back to google.com. Up on the top right, if I were to click images here, it brings me here. Now, if I have an image that I've already selected, and I'm actually looking at my other monitor, so I have an image on my desktop, and I'm going to drag that image into this search bar. So I can drag the image, which is the Racine Unified logo. And again, it's just going to go ahead and show me what websites that appears on. There are multiple ways of doing this. You could just drag it straight into the Google search bar. But I just wanted to be clear that this is for images. All right. Any questions, or can we move on to the last part of the session?
I think we can move along, Joe.
All right, thank you. I'm going to go back to ClassLink just to remove distractions.
While Joe is moving, I just want to share that on the chat. I put the link to the operators list from Google.
Awesome. Yeah, I love the operators. Okay. Next is just an overview of the Chrome browser settings, some things you may or may not be aware of. The first thing we want to look at, we're going to look at bookmarks. So bookmarks, right, are a quick way of accessing sites that we frequent, right? That we are frequently visiting. So let's say I want to go to rusd.org. I want to bookmark this page. Well, some of you might notice I already have it bookmarked because this little star, this little blue star is highlighted. But I'm going to go ahead and remove it. Let me try that again. There we go. So now that the star is not filled in, that means it is not a bookmarked website. One way of bookmarking the page, again, is to just click that star. That star will show up at the end of the URL bar or the end of the Omnibox. So if we click this star, by default, it will add the bookmark. And right now, it's saying it's going to add it to my bookmarks bar. You have a few options. I'll show you what the bookmarks bar is in a second. You could also create a folder, a separate folder to place those bookmarks in. So I have a few folders set up here, but I'm going to go ahead and leave this in my bookmarks bar. Now, where did that go? I have a few too many bookmarks, but this thing right here, see all these pictures, these little icons? These are all bookmarks that I have on my bookmarks bar. So since I just bookmarked another site, it goes to the very end. So to get to the end, I have to click these arrows, this little drop down here. And on the bottom is the new bookmark that I created, Racine Unified School District. Then I can click it and select it and drag it in to my bookmarks bar as far as being easily accessible. Right? Because it was in my bookmarks bar, but I couldn't see it. Now it shows up right here. In previous sessions, people asked, could we turn off the bookmarks bar? Unfortunately, you cannot turn off the bookmarks bar. It is restricted by our IT department, just for consistency's sake. So the bookmarks bar will appear here. The other way to get to the bookmarks would be by clicking these three circles on the top right. So on the top right of my browser, next to my little green icon, I have these three circles. You can see we have a few options to choose from, but we want to go to bookmarks. Now, this is where you can really manage and move and organize the bookmarks that you have. So clearly, I should spend some time in Bookmark Manager based on what I have. So we're going to go to Bookmark Manager, and I'm going to go through that one more time. I clicked on the three circles. I went to Bookmarks, and then I'm clicking Bookmark Manager. You can see here that it brings up all the folders, all the bookmarks that I have. So here's my Gmail bookmark. If I want to remove that, I simply click these three circles, and I can delete it. Or let's say, excuse me, let's say I have, I don't know, these 5 bookmarks that I want to put in a separate folder. You can select all of them by holding the Shift button and then clicking down. And we can move these into another folder simply by dragging them. So the Bookmark Manager is pretty user-friendly. Again, I can just simply click and drag and hover over the the folder that I want to place them in. You will always have the ability to edit and remove, add bookmarks as you please. Any questions about bookmarks?
Nope, seems like we are good.
Okay, all righty. Next is the Incognito window. So when you if you take the level 1 exam, you will need to take it in an incognito window. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to get to that. Let me get out of bookmarks. So on the top right, again, I'm clicking these 3 circles. Now I'm going to go down to new incognito window, right? We have the option for new tab, new window, but the new incognito window is a little unique. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Incognito is for private browsing. So it does not save history. It doesn't save passwords, logins. None of that transfers over in your incognito window. Any extensions you have on your browser, if you do have extensions, none of that will appear in your incognito window. So one of the reasons that you take the test on through the incognito window, is because, again, it does disable all extensions. It doesn't allow for extensions. What I mean by that is, if you remember back when we were getting the phishing emails, there are a few extensions that are pushed out by the district, right? And we cannot remove these from our browser. Now, those extensions could potentially mess with the test. So that's one scenario why you would want to use an incognito browser. It really limits the amount of errors or problems that could come up. But then again, just for professional use, if you just wanted to hop on and like give someone a window to search something on, it is private browsing. Now, if you're on the school network, again, I am just going to say, make sure you're being professional, but it is secure and it does remove the history automatically. Anything with incognito? Okay.
Just 1 second, Joe. So people is asking how you get to the incognito window too, but I think that person already got the answer. But I do have another question, and I'm not sure if I do understand it. Maybe you do. For the RUSD homepage, how do you make the cut to get your picture on? Oh, okay, he's been funny. You actually changing your picture on your profile. So that's something that is not going to be covered on this session, but that's how you change your picture on the top.
Yes. All righty.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
No. Good question. So we have two things left. I appreciate everybody's patience. I know we're throwing a lot at you. The next thing is the web store and the app store. In the units, I think it's unit 13, if I recall correctly, it goes into the web store. Now, or excuse me, the app store. The app store is something that will have you add actual applications, right? So you would have to have an Android device. This is the app store. There's no way that, Racine Unified expects you to be able to, go purchase an Android device just to try this stuff out. It's just more of a that it's there type of thing. So the apps are literal applications that go on your device. They're saved locally on your device, whether it's a computer, whether it's a phone, tablet. Those are where you'll find the apps. Now, when we talk about the web store, I'm going to go ahead and just type in Chrome Web Store. I'll show you the other way of getting there. But here's the Chrome Web Store. This is different. This is where we find extensions. And you can see on my browser here up on the top, these are all different extensions that I have. Extensions are within Chrome itself. They're within Chrome. If you go to a different browser or you use someone else's computer, those extensions will not show up. It is specifically tied to your Chrome browser. Extensions serve many different purposes. For example, I have a Google Meet attendance extension. So it takes attendance just as a backup in case the chat malfunctions for this session. To get to our extensions and to manage our extensions, guess where we're going to go? We're going to go back to these three circles on the top right. We're going to go to More Tools. So we go 3 circles, we scroll down to More Tools, then we go to Extensions. Here, you will see whatever extensions you have. You can see ones that I have turned on because the blue toggle switch is on. All the other ones are disabled. I have a kind of a problem. I have too many, but you can go through if you're interested in seeing if any extensions would make your life easier. I also will note here, and again, this is more related to Racine Unified troubleshooting. If you have, if you notice all of a sudden when you click on a new window and it's giving you some weird search bar you haven't seen, or like typing club, or just something bizarre, right? Or you're getting pop-ups, this is a good place to look. For sure, put a ticket in the call center, right? But it's always good to check out this extension page, because extensions can be sneaky. A website might have a pop-up on it and make it seem like you have to add something, right? And what it really is a separate search engine or something that's going to slow down your computer. So if you see anything on here that's unfamiliar to you, or you're like, I didn't add this, you can remove it. You can go ahead and just highlight the extension you want to remove, and we can remove it. Kind of a little tangent there, but I do think it happens frequently enough that it's worth bringing up. Then, to get to the Chrome Web Store, right, to add additional extensions, we would go to the top left here. These top left, the 3 lines. And then on the very bottom, it says Open Chrome Web Store. I know Natalia prefers going through this way. I just Google it because I get frustrated having to click a few times. Natalia is more patient than I am. So this is how you get to the web store, and these are where you can find extensions. You are allowed to add extensions to your browser. Anything there before we go to the last thing, Natalia?
Nope.
All righty. Finally, we have the sign in and sync. Now, you might have done this back during the computer refresh. So when everybody was excited to be switching from Macs to PCs, just joking. But back when that process happened, you might have actually set this up already. And the reason I say that is because it transfers your bookmarks and your history and all the stuff that you've saved, and it transfers it over to no matter what device you're on, as long as you're using your Chrome browser with your account. So let me show you exactly what I mean. When I click on the little icon on the top right here, it says sync is on. Sync is on. That means I could go on Natalia's computer. I could go down to add, and I could actually add my account. So that way I would have all my stuff separate from her stuff, right? And you can see actually on mine, I have a few different accounts here. Like my child has one, because I don't necessarily want him on my synced account, right? My account that's syncing with my work account. To add an account, we click on that circle right there, and then you just go down to where it says add. You can type in the name of the person. So I'm just going to go with example for today, 521. And we're going to add that user. Now, nothing magical happens yet. But if we go ahead and click on this icon again, the top right icon of the cat, you'll see here that sign in and sync is not on. It does not have to be. It's your choice, right? We're not telling you have to turn it on. But this is where you would turn on that syncing option. So if I hit turn on sync, it will make me log into a Google account, and then you'll see the bookmarks transfer over. All right. That's all we have as far as the tasks that are highlighted in the Teacher Center for the certification training. Any questions before we sign off?
There are no more questions right now. Remember that today we went through the basics, things for the teachers in the Learning Center. If you have any further questions, feel free to email us or your tech integrator. We will be sending you the recording of this video and additional resources. So thank you so much for participating today. And if you are done, just click on the hand up button. Thank you and have a great day.
Yes, thank you all so much. We appreciate your time. Good luck with your grades.